What's up, y'all? It's your boy Scat Pat Mac. Listen, I want to talk about Samson. A lot of you all probably don't know the story about Samson. Probably you do know the story about Samson. You see, Samson was the strongest man in the Bible. You see, Samson knew he was strong. Samson knew he can beat anybody that came his way and any animal that came his way. You see, Samson was so strong, he even killed one of my favorite animals in the world, the lion. He killed a lion with his bare hands. That's how strong Samson was. So Samson knew he was a strong guy. He was getting a little bit of cockiness. So I guess, he can beat this guy, beat that guy. So that was an episode with Samson when he was in the middle of a fight. And God took his strength away from him a little bit. He began to lose. So with Samson being a strong man, he began to feel a little bit of that weakness and defeat in the middle of a fight. So with all that little bit of cockiness, God had to take Samson's strength a little bit so that he can fall on his knees and ask God for strength. So Samson did just that. He fell on his knees and asked God for his strength. God gave him the strength, and he was able to defeat the man that was in front of him. So a lot of people was fascinated with Samson. Where does he get all the strength from? You see, Samson's strength laid in the locks of his hair. Not just his hair, in the locks of his hair. And God told him, you must never tell anyone where your strength comes from. And he made that promise to God he would never tell. And remember I told you how strong Samson was, right? But also Samson had a weakness, women. He loved women. You see, Samson's family had this specific woman that they wanted him to marry. You see, Samson had his eyes set on the wrong woman, a Philistine by the name of Delilah. You see, Samson's friends warned him, man, that woman ain't no good. Stay away from her. But he could not help himself. He had to have Delilah. So Samson fell in love with Delilah, not knowing that Delilah was just a trick, just to see where the source of his strength come from. So one night, Delilah got him drunk. They began to talk. And guess what he did? She asked him where did his strength come from. And he told Delilah the strength comes from the locks of his hair. So while Samson was passed out for being drunk, Delilah cut his hair, and Samson lost his strength and became a slave to the Philistines. So Samson was captured. They beat him, they blinded him, they gouged his eyes out, they mocked him. So they put Samson right there in the middle of the Philistines' temple, the temple where they worship the god of Dagon. And as they laughed and as they mocked Samson, Samson began to talk to God. He asked God to forgive them for he had told his secret where his strength lies. And Samson also asked the Lord for his strength back, and God granted that request. God gave him his strength back. Samson's hair began to grow, and Samson also asked for his disobedience for him to be destroyed in that temple of Dagon with the Philistines because of his disobedience. You see, what's so amazing about this story is that Samson, even though through his disobedience, he told Delilah where his strength came from. He promised God not to say anything. Samson was punished. They slaved him. They gouged his eyes out. They mocked him. But Samson asked God for his forgiveness and asked God to grant him his strength back so that he could still serve his purpose. God still used Samson in the midst of his disobedience. See, God can still use us through our disobedience, but also God still punish us through our disobedience as well. But let's not be Samson. Let's not be disobedient to what God tells us to do. Let's continue to listen to God, be obedient to his words, and be doers of his words so that we can yet still be used by God.